Pierce Sullivan says, power scaling time. Who wins? Fruitless Law and Beppo versus Johnny and Yasaku. Oh, Johnny and Yasaku, easy. Johnny and Yasaku, easy. Come on. Fruitless Law? Come on now. Come on now.
One eternity later.
Obviously, I'm kidding. Obviously, I'm kidding. What I think of Shachi and Penguin as... Here, let me show you guys. This is what I think of them as. Who gives a fuck? Like, you can't be getting fucked up by one of these guys. They're just like the most replaceable, generic sidekicks you could ask for. Like, it's just a round out Law's crew with some named characters. But here they are, shooting explosive bubbles or some shit like that. Damn, Doc Q getting fucked up by Thing 1 and Thing 2. Actually, just Thing 1. I wonder how much being a part of a fandom affects things. Because I explained why I didn't like Law initially, because I felt like I was waiting on Straw Hats to get their focus and everything again. We'd been focused on Luffy for so long between Impel Down and Marineford. So I was waiting, I was really excited to see the Straw Hats finally get to shine again, right? And then we start the new world, and it's entirely about this dude, Trafalgar Law, out of the blue, as though the other main characters don't really matter. It's now Trafalgar Law and friends. So when I was reading initially, that rubbed me the wrong way. It was nothing personal against Law. It was more so the effect that he had on the story, on the characters that I wanted to see more of. But for a good 100 or so chapters, Law was the main character of One Piece. No question. Punk Hazard through 80% of Dressrosa, it's Law's storyline. Everybody else is his supporting cast. So that wasn't fun for me to read, right? Reading week to week for that long, just reading the next episode. Like, I thought I signed up to read fucking One Piece, the story of Straw Hat Luffy, the Pirate King, and his crew, the characters that I've grown to love over time. I didn't realize I was signing up to read the story about this random knockoff Sasuke-esque figure that just got dropped into the story out of nowhere, that now we're supposed to be all wrapped up in his revenge plot or some bullshit, basically, for the next 100 chapters, after I waited on these fuckers to train for 2 years to show me what they can do now. Anyway, I'm all cool with that now. But I didn't love Law for a long period of time. It's just the way it was. Now, I didn't hate or dislike Law, but once I joined the One Piece fandom and I saw all of you people sucking Law off and treating him like he's God's gift to man, I said Law's shooting up the popularity polls. He nearly overtakes Luffy as the most popular character for some period of time. Everybody else seems to love the fact that it's the Trafalgar Law show. I think it pissed me off more, like, once you're in the fandom and you see everybody else, basically. I know that the same thing happens to a lot of Zoro and Sanji fans, where, like, people read or watch the series on their own. And, maybe you're a Zoro fan or you're a Sanji fan, but you don't dislike the other character. But then you join the community, and you see how much discussion and arguments and how much, like, rivalries and everything like that ensue from just liking one of those two characters. Then you start to resent that character yourself, you see? Reality is, as much as I should talk Law, in terms of real captains, Law is essentially 4th or 5th most significant captain in the world right now, pirate captain. Here's how I view him and Kid, basically. I view them as, like, their general status and standing in the world. Not necessarily, I think general status and standing in the world, I view them very similar to how Luffy was viewed post-Whole Cake Island, as a pseudo-emperor. I'm not even talking about strength or whatever. I'm saying as pirates, what's their general standing. They have bigger bounties than Luffy did, but they're also not being called Yonko. So I'm kind of saying, like, just what it feels like they are to me in terms of general status and placement in the One Piece world. It feels like that pseudo-emperor kind of area. As much as I shit on Law, this is par for the course. I have to give him some props at this point.
I'm Stan and I was wrong.
He is doing some stuff 1v1 versus a Yonko. My whole thing was that we never really got to see him do anything to Big Mom on his own without her already being distracted by Kid. But look, he's here, he's doing it. He's still gonna lose, but, he got a good hit in on Blackbeard. We kind of got an idea of how strong his Devil Fruit Awakening is in straight up combat, which is that he can use it looks like, against the Guruguru no Mi, I guess. He probably won't win this clash, obviously, but Blackbeard is going to throw in a second Devil Fruit, so it's not really a fair comparison. But yeah, it does seem like Law's pretty strong. That's fair. I still don't change my previous opinions on him, which were basically he's really, really bad at haki. It's a general fact, confirmed throughout everything we've ever seen in the story. Just to give you an idea of how bad he is at haki, by the way, Law can't even coat his sword in haki. There is no black coating on Law's sword. The shit that Zoro was doing back in Dressrosa, Law can't even do that. Purely carried by his devil fruit, essentially. I mean, and that's just a fact, because again, we know haki is what you would use if you're actually good at fighting, but he's got the brokest devil fruit in the verse, so he's able to keep up with characters like Blackbeard. I managed to circle back. What's funny is I think I started by giving Law props, and then over the course of it, like my natural dislike just naturally, like, it was like a train track. It naturally segued me back onto a track where I just started shit talking again. How did that happen? No, Law's crew impressed me. I liked, and not in a joking way. I think that they're not strong, but I like that Oda gave them their own little niche, which is factually a very effective niche to excel in, because it's like, yeah, they'll get fucked up on land by pretty much anybody, probably by the Arlong pirates. In the sea, I think Law's crew should win almost any naval battle, which actually is a really, really big deal, and I like that Oda included something like that to, you know, just to make them seem more effective, to make it seem warranted that, you know, they're the crew of a character like Law, who is obviously a very high-profile pirate. I do wish some of them were stronger, but, you know, the more I think about it, it's just like, yeah, nobody should beat the Law pirates in a straight-up naval battle. You would have to have some abilities that can affect things under the water, or you would have to have fishermen on your side like Jinbei, characters like Sanji that can travel underwater really well, stuff like that. But it's a good idea by Oda. I really like that. Felix C says Morj's ability to find lost lander is unmatched. I'll lay off for a little bit. I can't deny this was...
No way. No way.
The panel of him clashing with Blackbeard, that's big. That's the Guru Guru no Mi, right? That means that Law's fruit is also... The awakened version of Law's fruit is also really, really strong. Jack Mahope says, not gonna lie, them trying to sink the Blackbeard pirates is genius. Instant win if you destroy their ship on sea. Yeah, no, props to the Heart Pirates. Like, it's actually just so straightforward and logical. It's just like, they don't need to be strong on land. Pirate battles often, usually in theory, not in the actuality of the One Piece story, but pirate battles should be taking place on sea. If we have a submarine and we can swim and shit, then we'll just fuck up whoever we come across, right? And Blackbeard's crew, in particular, considering these dumbasses are still going around on rafts, literal wooden logs. So it's basically the least properly aquatically adapted ship, Blackbeard's crew, going up against by far the most advanced and optimized ship for naval battle. So that's an interesting little contrast there. I like that. Planet Max says, also stop pushing a false agenda of Law being bad in 1v1s. Just because he fought a much stronger person and lost doesn't mean he's bad in a 1v1. I mean, the last time we saw him in a 1v1 was Doflamingo, but clearly, I stand corrected. Clearly, don't mean this in a sarcastic way, even though it's kind of starting to sound like that just because of the way I started this sentence. But clearly, with his awakening and all the shenanigans he's been showing with his awakening, right, over the course of this one chapter with Blackbeard, he would destroy Doflamingo at this point, I think, right? He's fighting a Yonko. He would destroy Doflamingo at this point. So I will stop pushing the false agenda that Law is bad in 1v1s. He is not as good as certain other characters that he gets compared to in 1v1s. I would still obviously take Kid in a 1v1, Zoro in a 1v1, stuff like that. Law's full strength, as shown over the course of the rooftop fight and the Big Mom fight, is in support, doing support-based things, especially when his friends can get him open shots. He can teleport people around to get them open shots. That's just me, like, I'm just reading straight quotes from the manga here, which is Law repeatedly saying, stop using me as support, as characters continuously use him as support over the course of fights. So he's the GOAT support player. Like, that's not a bad thing, by the way. Being number one, like the number one support player, number one 2v2 fighter in the entire verse, that's a compliment. Like, shouts to Law, that's pretty good. 1v1, he's not as bad as I thought previously.